another CBB talk. We're doing a golf talk today. As you know, the US Open just ended, and I'm trying something new. I'm talking about the US Open today, which I'm very excited to do. Look, the US Open just finished its golf's third major. It was in my neck of the woods, Pinehurst, and Bryson DeChambeau wins his second major championship, his second US Open in dramatic fashion. We have to talk about it all. I'm a big golf fan. I play a lot of golf. I watch a lot of golf. And I'm going to be doing you guys know me from my college basketball stuff. I'm going to be doing this with golf. I'm going to be ranking the top 25 players probably in the next episode I do of this. So, yeah, let's talk golf. Bryson DeChambeau shoots 1 over par, 71 today, and wins the U.S. Open with final score 6 under par, a low-scoring major. But it's what we expect from a U.S. Open, and especially from Pinehurst. Let's talk about it. Obviously, the final pairing today was DeChambeau and Pavon. I didn't think Pavon was a guy who was going to threaten DeChambeau, and he really didn't all day. But yeah, the course played tough today, and Bryson did not drive the ball well, really at all today. He found himself a lot in what the wired grass. They call it the native area. He found himself a lot in that native area today, and what they were saying on the broadcast, what you realized was he was getting a lot of good breaks out of that wire grass. He didn't have a lot of shots where the ball was in the wire grass, so it affected his swing. It affected his stance a lot, but he played really well. And what really surprised me about DeChambeau is when he's been in every major this year. The Masters, I think he got a top 5. Obviously, runner-up the PGA, and now wins the U.S. Open. But it was a short game all week, and especially yesterday and today. Bryson DeChambeau got up and down. The 1 on 8 really stood out to me. Was it 8? Yeah, where he hit it way over the green, made a great up and down there, made like a 7-foot putt, I believe, for par. That really, he got emotion, he got fired up there, and didn't make a birdie on the front 9. But in the back 9, he played so much better today. And then yeah, we can talk about 18. Obviously, we're gonna get into Rory McIlroy because it was tough, but yeah, 18 obviously. Bryson's coming off, having a good look at 17. Obviously made a nice birdie on 13 earlier, and kind of was just, playing Bryson DeChambeau golf, not doing anything crazy. Obviously the bogey on 15 missed a shorter putt there. But yeah, 18, he flares drive. He was missing his drive a lot. He was having a lot of pulls and laying around, had missed some more to the left. Or no, sorry, I'm thinking I'm a lefty. He was blocking them out a lot right earlier. Then he started having more pulls and overcorrecting, and he hit one way left, had a root in his way, a tree in his backswing. And, he tried to punch down and just ran it too far into that bunker. And what they said on the broadcast was no one had got up and down from there all day. And what he did was, it was about a 50-yard bunker shot, and he hit an amazing one, man. I thought he was going to leave himself kind of a Payne Stewart-like putt, which would have been amazing. But no, he left himself 4-foot putt, and he ends up making it. He was emotional. He was, he likes to show his emotions. Got very fired up there. And I think what Bryson has done is really changed his image. He's become the people's player. He interacts with the crowd. He wants to talk to them. He's talking to the camera, talking to the fans all week long. He gets emotion. He shows it. And it's a breath of fresh air. I think we get the perfect dose of Bryson, obviously, with him on LIV. I would love for him to come back to the PGA Tour one day. I love to see the best players play against each other every week. And this is what makes the major championships now so much more special, is that's the only weeks we get to see a guy like Bryson DeChambeau or Brooks Koepka, or usually John Rahm, guys like that competing against the PGA Tour's best. But Bryson, he cemented himself as one of the best players. It's crazy to think he wasn't on the Ryder Cup last year. Again, it really, we know he does the weird thing of putting his golf balls in salt, or his 1-length irons he's always had, the weird grips, the smash driver he uses, the long putter. He does things differently, man. But he's fun to watch. He is really just changed almost his game. He bulked up when he won at Wingfoot in 2020, but this year was different. He did it with the short game, and that's what a lot of people said Pinehurst required was accurate irons or amazing short game. He got up and down a lot, and really only had 1 3 putt the whole week, and it was on 15 where he hit a really good iron shot into that par 3 and 3 putt it. But let's talk about Rory McIlroy, man. Obviously Rory, maybe the face of the PGA. That's not Scotty Scheffler. And man, he had a really good first round, fired in a 5 under. And he kind of just held on. He had a bad second day. He played early, wasn't really in the spotlight, shot 2 over. I had a good bounce back yesterday. And then today, in that second to last pairing with Patrick Cantley, we didn't know how that was going to go. It seemed like they were all good with him and Joe LaCava. But we weren't sure how Rory was going to play there. Obviously, makes a great birdie on one, and we're like, okay, is this Rory's day? Obviously, bogey in 5. I thought he got a really bad break. Hit a good 5 iron up to that green, roll all the way off. Didn't get in that bunker, and then got into a shitty kind of oh my god, I can't the area, like a little sandy patch area. What was they calling it? The native area. They got into the native area. And made a bogey there. Made a great birdie on 9. I made a long putt there, and he followed up a birdie at 10, 12, and 13. And Rory gets to 5 under through 13. Had a great up and down 13. 12 hit a really nice putt. And Rory had the lead at this point. And, I'm thinking, wow, this is going to be Rory McIlroy's 5th major. He's really going to come back on Bryson. I did not think that was going to happen. And he's going to cement himself as a great legacy. And maybe this is what he needs. He just needs one to keep getting more. And then, yeah, we get the 15. And, 15, that was a tough one. He hit a good iron shot low, goes over the green there. And it was a tough up and down. He drops one, and we're not too surprised there. I think he's still the lead at Bryson because Bryson misses a short putt on 15. But we get the 16, man. And he misses a putt. And I think it rolls past, about 2 feet, 3 feet. And we're like, okay, Rory. And I swear I had this thinking in my head. I said this out loud. I think, Rory, just don't miss a short putt. You've been making them all day, and maybe I jinxed them. But I did think a miss was a potential there. It was not too much of a breaking putt. And he missed it. He pulled it right, lipped out. And yeah, you miss a 3-foot putt, a less than 3-foot putt. And maybe you're thinking, okay, Rory, that's a momentum shifter there. I think it was tied at that point, back-to-back bogeys. Makes a solid par on the 17, and we go to 18. Rory McIlroy is tied with Bryson DeChambeau right now. We're thinking par is good here, even though 18, a lot of people were making birdies on that hole today. Rory pulls a driver. He didn't get a bad lie. He got a decent lie there. Just a lot of inaccurate. Rory hit the drive very well. Obviously, Bryson didn't, but it was a bad break where he got it. I think it wasn't a good lie. It was a bad lie. The ball was in front of those wired grass there. It was a tough swing. Runs up to the front of the green, and we're like, okay, Rory, up and down. You should get a playoff with DeChambeau. We were thinking maybe if he doesn't get up and down, Cantley has a birdie putt. And maybe we get a 3-way playoff. But no, Rory hits a pretty good chip shot, but past the hole, and you don't want to be past the hole, obviously, with that downhiller. But he hits it decent. It's like 4 feet there. I think they said 3 feet 9 inches. And we're just thinking, Rory, knock this in. Don't miss 2 in a row. And you're going to probably get a playoff because at that point, we knew Bryson drove it left. He was not going to make birdie from there. We're thinking playoff, and Rory, it broke more. I think what Smiley was saying following them was it's a left edge putt. And if with pace, you don't have to play it out that much. But we saw Rory line up. It looked like he was playing a lot, and he just hit it soft, left it low side. I was thinking back, right? Because obviously we've only had one playoff in the last 28, 29 majors. It's crazy. The only one was with JT and Zalatoris in that PGA. But it's crazy to think about There's not a lot of playoffs. I was excited to see one, and Rory has one of the worst choke jobs I can remember. You bogey 3 out of the last 4 holes there. After you were amazing all day, and Rory's still looking for a elusive 5th major. And I thought this was the one, man. I mean, this is up there with the worst choke jobs. With Mito Pereira at the that PGA was out when Zalatoris and JT went out. JT got the win. But that was up there when he drove it in the water in 18. Obviously, Jordan. It brings me back to Jordan in 2016 Masters when he hits it in the water twice and loses to Danny Willett. Man, it's a heartbreaking loss for Rory. I'm a Rory guy. I'm not a huge Rory guy, but I'm a Rory guy. Like I appreciate what Rory's done for the game of golf. But man, this one's gonna be hard to swallow. You had this major. You missed 2 putts inside 4 feet, which you haven't done really all year. He didn't miss a putt inside 3 feet all year until that putt. He was like 200 or 400. I don't even know what it was. Something crazy. He ends up missing it, and DeChambeau obviously gets up and down, unlike Rory, from a much harder spot. And yeah, I mean, what other takeaways from this week was it was good to see Tony Finau back in the mix. I'm a big Tony Finau fan. It's good to see him. Obviously made that birdie on 18 and gets a tie for 3rd with Patrick Cantlay, who had his best major finish really ever. Only 8 players finished on the par. Kind of expected from Pinehurst there. I mean, there was a lot of hype coming into the week. The greens, how people were going to land shots on there. And I thought it played really tough. Obviously, the first day I think was the easiest day. We saw a lot of players, post low scores. It got harder on the week. And I think today was really just the hardest week overall. Xander Schauffele finished under par. Good to see him. I do think he's the 2nd best player in the world. But as DeChambeau claimed that 3rd spot, good week from him. Hideki had a good week as well. We saw Sergio have his best major finish probably since the Masters out of nowhere. Ludwig was a stud on Thursday and Friday. You just saw him how stoic he was. He was enjoying smiling. I do think that guy is still the future of golf. Obviously, 73 on the weekend. It's not what Ludwig wanted, but I still really do think this guy is the future. The way I love how fast he plays. His swing is great. We saw him get a tie for 2nd in his first ever major at the Masters. He was great in the Ryder Cup without even playing in the major championship. Ludwig Aberg, whatever, I don't even know how you pronounce it. A great weekend from him. And yes, he didn't finish the way he wanted to, but I will say a really good weekend. A lot of positives to take away. Morikawa, good week. Really good Saturday. Average Sunday, finishes 2 over, but a top 15 for Colin, one of the best players in the world. I was really high. I thought he was going to win this week, man, but still a decent week. Tommy Fleetwood has a good Sunday again at a US Open and gets a T16 there. Other guys that caught my eye was a Min Woo Lee. He's been playing so good in majors this year, been so consistent, and this was a tie for 21. A really good week for Min Woo. I'm really high on Min Woo Lee. Obviously, Neil Shipley wins the Low-Am at the Masters and the US Open. And it's interesting because he did not have a great year, actually. He finished in the 40s at PGAU, which only accounts for seniors. So he doesn't get an exemption into the PGA Tour or in Korn Ferry. He's going to have to play the PGA Tour America. So he's going to have to grind his way to the PGA Tour, but I'm sure he's going to get some exemptions in because you win the Low-Am at the Masters at the US Open. Only a couple people have done that, and they're like Victor Hovland, Jack Nicklaus. I think it was Matt Kuchar and someone else did it, but it was a really good list to join. Neil Shipley wins the Low-Am. It was a great battle actually with who was it with? It was with Clayton. They actually played together. I thought that was super cool. Yeah, obviously Scotty Scheffler was a big thing in this week. The big favorite, one of the biggest favorites in a major championship since Tiger Woods. I think it was the biggest favorite since Tiger. And just didn't have his A game. Wasn't the haircut, wasn't the shave of the beard. I'm not the guy to say that, but it could have been. Just not a great week for Scotty. Made 4 birdies all week. Didn't make a birdie the last 2 rounds. 5 straight rounds over par for Scotty. Just wasn't his week. He really struggled with the putter. But he's still the best player in the world. It's just 1 week. But I have noticed Scotty's good at tournaments where you play the same course every year. Augusta, Memorial, the Players, the Phoenix Open, stuff like that, where you get to see the same course week in, year in, year out. and he struggles. He had a decent PGA championship, but a PGA, the US Open, the Open, I think he played in the Canadian Open, or maybe he has played in the Canadian Open in the past and has been amazing. I don't know if the Texas Open, where he didn't win, if that's a place they play every year, but if it's not, I've kind of caught that trend on, and we'll see. He's got one more major and then the FedEx Cup and the Olympics too. We'll see how he does, if he's going to play in that, and I hope he does. But yeah, obviously some big names did miss the cut. Victor Hovland, Tiger. It just, I mean, let's talk about Tiger, I guess, before we get out of here. Um, it does suck watching Tiger, struggle out there. He wants to be good. He says he has one more tournament for the rest of the year, and it will be the Open Championship. I believe at Royal Troon this year. So excited for that. Yeah, you can tell he just is frustrated because he knows how good he can be, but he knows he can't. He's in a weird predicament where the only way he's going to be able to be good at tournaments is if you play a lot. If he gets reps in, but if he does that and starts trying to play tournaments, he's going to get injured because he can't really walk that much. So he really can't do much about it, because if he tries to play a lot, he'll probably get injured and have a setback. But if he doesn't, he won't be sharp for majors. So we'll see. He made the cut at the Masters. Had a bad PGA, wasn't terrible at the Open, but just wasn't good enough. Didn't make enough birdies, didn't make enough putts on that first day. Really struggled on the greens, and missed the cut. And we'll see at the Open, hoping for a Tiger made cut. We don't know how many more majors Tiger got left besides the Masters. It sucks, because we all love watching the GOAT play. But yeah, all in all, a really good US Open. I didn't get to go, which does kind of stink. Obviously, I had a college orientation the first day and the practice rounds, which I would like to go to, and then got back. It was super hot there, and I knew a lot of friends went and had a good time. But it was great to watch on TV. It was a really good challenge. I was glad. I was a little nervous they were going to overrate Pinehurst and was going to play really tough, but it really did. I think it was a fair, tough challenge for the players. I like the turtleback greens that Donald Ross does. I played a Donald Ross course actually earlier this week, Raleigh ECC, where it's kind of similar, where if you're short on greens or long greens, it will roll off the back. It's really tough, man. And Pinehurst is another level to that. It's really tough. Again, we saw Bryson DeChambeau go win his second US Open, and kind of just change the persona around Bryson, where he wants to be liked. He wants to be able to be the fan favorite, the relatable guy, with his YouTube stuff and all of that. He's really, I mean, he's been one of the best players in the world this year. He's contended every major. Now he's won one, and we've seen Scotty, Xander, and Bryson really, I think, be the three best golfers this year, and they've been the three major champions. Like, yes, Brian Harman won the major last year, but I don't think he was one of the four best players. I think the three best players have won the majors, and I think Rory's there, man. This major, yes, Bryson won, but it's more of a Rory choke. Obviously, Rory played a good round. He shot under par today. But when you look back on this major championship and think Rory had a lead going into 15, and you bogey 3 out of your last 4. If you bogey 2 out of your last 4 in your playoff, if you bogey 1 of your last 4, you win. You missed 2 short putts, and we're gonna look back on this major and just it's gonna suck for Rory. But I think Bryson is really he's really on to something special, and he didn't hit his driver amazing this week, and he still won, which I think is super impressive. And it was, I thought his short game was way better than I remember Bryson, and his putting was really good, especially on Saturday. He got up and down and made putts all day long. And today he really didn't make anything crazy, but he only missed one putt where he really should have made, and just did everything right. And, he got some good breaks. But that's what it takes to win a US Open. You got to get lucky. You got to, just be able to, control yourself and let sometimes the golf course win, but, play conservative and attack when needed. And he did that a lot of the times, especially on Saturday, attacked some pins and made a lot of birdies. He made 6 birdies yesterday. I believe only made 1 or 2 today. I think 2 birdies today. So yeah, it was a great US Open. It was cinema. It really was. You had really a Rory DeChambeau with, sometimes you thought Cantley was in the mix or Finau was in the mix, but it was super Fun to watch. Let's see, what tournament do we got next week? I'm gonna go check right now what tournament we got next week. Um, we got the Travelers, which is a signature. So I think it's the last signature event. Um, which should be fun. Yeah, Travelers next week. Last year's winner was Keegan. This is a Boston tournament, Connecticut tournament. So that should be a good one. So an elevated event, obviously, to talk about. I'm gonna be back with my top 25 golfer rankings sometime soon. But yeah, a great US Open, and hopefully you guys like these videos. Because I'm just gonna post whatever. And today was a golf video. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys.